Come here now, girl.
Hello and welcome to WhatsMap, your one-stop shop for everything workshop. I'm BonBonB and you're very, very welcome. Right, it's Friday. Friday's the day of the week we turn to the BonBon buddies over on Patreon and say, hey guys, vote us in the map. And they've gone with this one. Originally a creator request over on Discord. The link to the Discord channel is in the description and will be popping up on your screen in a few moments' time. The creator has produced something that has got kind of a base game feel to it, but with custom assets. So we'll be checking out that. Now, be kind in the comments, as always be kind in the comments, because it is, that's right, and we do have a few little problems scattered across the map. So today we'll be talking about how we can progress as a creator rather than criticizing this map for not being a star. Fair enough? Good. It's also fair enough to play BonBonBingo. Entertain yourself as we go along, because there's going to be plenty of memes today, and of course a daily reminder for all of you.
It's the first map.
That's right, clicking that like button really does support the channel, gets me seen by more people and helps me grow a little bit more every single day. Thank you for your support. Today's map is Strait of Zavanery by Roseark. Okay, my first impression, top down view, quite interesting and quite pleasing, I would say, from up here. Start square, there are trees everywhere, so you probably want to do some clearing. Always clear before you build. That's my tip of the day. BonBon's tip of the day. Terrain heights, it's got that proper base game feel to it as well. Not super flat, but not stupidly hilly. Strong resources in small locales, all within the 25 tiles, so that's good to see. And if you have Sunset Harbour and you want to do some fishing, we've managed to get all of the little fishies, so congratulations for that, Roseark. Okay, off to the workshop. What do we need? Well, there are a few things to subscribe to. We've got the SCT Homecoming theme. Relight More, Relight Lutz is listed there. No specific one, so I've gone with the Relight 2 Average, being as it's the generic version. And then we've got some custom rail and road items in there as well as a few custom trees. And by that specifically, I mean Pidalmo's Regular Pine, which is a lovely set. One subscription, you get 4 different trees, and you can make some quite varied, lovely pine forests. Unfortunately, they're not listed on the requirements list on the workshop page, which means I have to assume that you don't have them. So I'm not going to harp on too much about it, but of course when we get to rate the map for aesthetics at the end, we have to assume that all of these lovely, lovely trees, which are lovely, lovely trees, by the way, well, they're not there. Well, we do find any problems with the trees, I will point them out, but again, they're not there, so it's kind of like Schrodinger's tree. Is there a tree? And if there is a tree, is there a problem? If there's not a problem, is there a tree in the first place? Who knows? Anyway, for a first map, there's some interesting work on here which is bordering on being quite polished. Bordering on. For example, see how the rail is already elevated to go over the roads here? There you go. Right, don't look at it now. Don't look at it now. Thank you. So the fact that it came in elevated and crossed the road already elevated, that was a nice touch, and there definitely are some nice touches. There are unfortunately some wayward touches as well, which we will have to point out and hopefully give advice on how to make a better next map. Now, they've already released their second map. I've not checked it out, but I have noticed that it's already out. A little bit of road overlap between the two roads there, just a little bit. Here we go, another one. We've got this intersection, and the way that it's dug into a bit of a valley here means that it looks quite appropriate, and I think that is, again, bordering on polished work. There's still definitely stuff we could moan about with it, but let's not do that. Let's talk about the positives, and I would say that is bordering on good work. Down here we do have a little bit of a problem. Okay, so this is well, janky deluxe basically. We've got we've got a bend in that section. We've got an elevator before the bridge starts over in this section. The bridge itself, once you get onto the bridge, is not too bad at all. And then we've got this intersection which leads off onto one of these custom national roads. Also, yeah, trees underneath the road, or are there, because the trees don't exist. There's your Schrodinger's quandary today. The rail, did you notice that with the rail? We might have a look at the rail in a moment. But yeah, the next intersection there is perfectly okay. But yeah, the rail here, I think they changed their mind here. We can clearly see the original route of the rail, and then we switch to a tunnel, which then emerges slightly a different location. The rail has, again, some interesting areas and 1 or 2 misfires as well, which again I'll show you when we get around there. Start Square is here, where we do have an elevated at ground level road. Again, it costs nothing to fix it once you get down there, so it's not a big problem, but it's just 1 extra little task to do before you crack on with it. And then down to the custom bridge and the big old bridge, and at first glance they don't look too bad, and they're not too bad. We just got some interesting stuff. I don't mind the bend in the road, actually. The bend in the road is quite interesting, but the pillars in the rail bridge are staggered, so they get wider and wider and wider, which a highly skilled map maker could really make that work. I think the middle pillar more in the middle would work better, or better still, I wouldn't have the middle pillar. I would just have the 2 pillars and have this span all the way across. But if you're going to have the 3rd pillar somewhere in the middle, and then we've got cars driving past the window, sorry about that, and then we've got again changes of terrain height there, and I would suggest the way to fix that would be to terraform the riverbed so it's nice and flat before you get started. Again, not too bad work on this intersection in terms of the ramp heights, quite like that. But the rail tunnel there, you can clearly see it running just under the surface of the land, and you just see the underside of it. Again, just a little bit of lack of experience. Tree in the road. Oh, blue mantle. The blue mantle's a bigger problem than the tree, because the tree doesn't exist. The blue mantle very, very clearly does exist there. And then down and off for a little summer jaunt along the highway. Now, we're going to run out of trees here, and that is part of the map design, I feel. It's okay. It's fine. We'll talk more about it a bit later on. And we'll follow the route of the road. I quite like the route of the road. I'm going to give some credit here. I like the route of the road. Don't look at the rail for now. Okay, we're coming back this way in a moment along the rail, because the rail has got some, again, misfires, I feel, is the way. This intersection works quite nicely again against the slightly elevated. It just needs to be a little bit lower there, though. It's very nearly very polished, so maybe if we'd taken a slightly lower route around, I think that would have looked a little bit smoother. But still, 3/4 of the way to being a polished intersection, and so credit for that. Bit of a jinky janky there, but we will ignore it for now, because we're going to be jumping across to the rail. And again, the rail is... it's almost there. Again, just some interesting decisions that haven't quite worked. Like, see the elevation there, the transition, the gradient seems quite pleasing. I think we can roll with this. And then, for some reason, we stay at ground level and come down to a level crossing. Now, if we put the lines of terrain on, see the way it drops down. Now, if we stay elevated at this point, we would have a bridge across there, not needing a level crossing. If we stay elevated all the way across this valley and come back down to ground on maybe on the side of the hill here, that would be a much smoother transition. And then if we stay on the edge of the hill, because we end up on the edge of the hill anyway, and that would be much smoother as well. It's just a lack of experience and just making what feel like good decisions, and they don't really work. And again here, if we stayed elevated here, we wouldn't have to climb at this point here. Then we go right the way up here. How about at this point we go into a tunnel, okay? And then we emerge the tunnel over here, or maybe a little, the next one about there maybe. Somewhere in that area I feel would work quite well for a tunnel. Because you see, here's the thing. We follow the rail line along the edge here, which clearly doesn't work. We end up in a tunnel anyway. But this tunnel, all it's doing is cutting off the corner. Tunnels isn't even really needed there. We just follow the loop around. Anyway, we'll take an intermission. We'll come back for the second half of the show. There's no tunnel. Don't look at the tunnel. There is no tunnel.
Are you bored with the standard vanilla bridges? Have you seen those lovely custom bridges but don't know how to use them? Ooh, very nice. then you need the Beginner's Guide to Custom Bridges by BonBonB. Click the information button below.
And so back to the shipping routes at Strait of Zavanery by Roseark. Right, shipping route here. This one does have a right angle turn right deep in the fog. You're not going to notice it. The ship's turning there, you're not going to notice. And the route up here does go to the edge of the map, just not over in this direction. So it's going to be handy for harbours on this wall over here. Oh, by the way, Strait of Zavanery as it's listed, if you're having trouble finding it on your list of maps, that's because the map name, where are we? Here's the other one. No outside connection on this one. The list on the map name is Bay of Zavanery. I actually had to reload the map to find it. So, oopsie. Yes, so if you can name your map the same as you name your map, that would be very helpful. We've got strong water flow. If you need strong water flow, this map has definitely got you covered. In fact, both locations there, yeah, you're going to be good. You're going to be absolutely fine for moving water if you want to pump and draw. Okay, and let's have a look at the map as a whole. The map as a whole, I'd say it has that base game kind of design to it. And I'm not completely averse to a base game type design. It is lacking a little bit of experience, which of course the original base game maps, they were lacking experience. But yeah, some of these waterways are strong. We'll go with strong. Now, we do have some drowned trees, only there aren't any trees, so they're not drowned. Also, some with grappling hooks as well, but they haven't because they're not there either. Then we have Pencil Bay. Now, take notes. You might need a pencil for this one. This is a pencil. I don't know if that was by design. Let's say it was. Okay? We can give credit if we say it was. Sirens? Thank you. The Essential Lighthouse. Ah, isn't she lovely? There is no detailing out in this part of the map, so it does stand out as being, well, standing out. But in terms of location for a lighthouse, I think that's a pretty strong location. Over here you can see the texture of the land. Looks like there's been a blanket thrown over this, and it just looks a little bit odd. And then we have the dam, which I feel is a very strange place for a dam. It doesn't look right here. We could, and it probably isn't operating much anyway because there isn't much of a drop. We could actually have a working dam on this map, and I feel that would be around the mouth of this lake. Turn this lake into a reservoir, put a dam across the top here somewhere, and it'd be good, except for the water is pouring into the reservoir from outside. Also, we've got a whole bunch of drowned trees, or are there any trees? There aren't any trees. This end, though, the water is also pouring out into the ocean, which means we have at least one spawn point in this river, which is weird. Very weird indeed. Let's have a look at the water spawn points. Yeah. Okay. So what I would do is I would do some terraforming, work it so that, because this lake is higher than the main water area. So I'd have that higher, I would put a dam in there, I'd do a bit of a drop, and then have the water push its way through and down the river in a natural manner. And then I think I'd just make a lot more sense. Anyway, what more have we got? Yeah, this is also a weird water area. Again, strong water flow, so good for gameplay. Central Lighthouse, that's handy. We don't want our ships going up here and getting caught on the they don't exist trees, which don't exist, so they're fine. They're not wearing their trunks because they don't have trunks to wear because there is nothing to put them on. But yes, it's an interesting shape. Now the start square is over here, not perfectly flat, but because there's loads of trees there, I figured we'll put down our assets of the day over on this little boarded area over here instead. And this is a very nice generic set of office buildings, the Westcoast Office Pack by GCVos. Again, grab the painter mod for just switching up the colours, because I think some of these buildings don't really work. The black tone doesn't really work for me. It might work for you, but anyway, yeah, grab the painter mod and make these work for you. Factoids, because factoids. A strait, just in case you didn't know, a strait is a naturally formed, narrowing, typically navigable waterway that connects two larger bodies of water. The surface water generally flows at the same elevation on both sides and through the strait in either direction. Most commonly it is a channel of water that lies between two land masses. And I would say that this definitely is a strait and not a bay, so Strait of Zavanery would definitely be the right name for it. Anyway, a Westcoast office pack by GCVos. This is definitely something that's going to fill up your city very nicely. Grab it, get all of them for one button click. Today's asset pack of the day. Right, okay, a link is of course in the description. As always, link to this and to the map, always in the description. Well, what do you think of today's map? Come on, be honest. Is it a 1-star map? Is it a 5-star map? Is it somewhere in between? Your vote really does count. We use it at the end of the month for the Viewer's Choice Top 10. Will this be one of the top 10 maps of the month? Only you can decide. Hit the I button now in the top right hand corner of your screen, or the link in the description. It will take you to the voting page where you can vote for free with a Facebook, Gmail, Apple, or a Patreon account. But what do I think of today's map? Well, let's start off with the aesthetics. I think the aesthetics are fine. I think we are pushing towards middle 3. I think so. I think pushing towards middle 3 is fair. There are certain parts of the map which are completely bare, so that would bring the score down a little bit. But of course the whole map is completely bare because none of these trees would have been subscribed to. So I would have gone just slightly below middle 3. Instead I'm going to go for a medium high 2. Punished for that. Detailing, there's a lot of little... Do you know what? We're nearly there again. I really want to go into 3 stars for this, but I think we are just lacking in the just beginner skill level. So I'm going to go for a very high 2 stars. You're right on the edge. Right on the edge. So close. Gameplay. Do you know what? I think this is playable. Yeah, I'm not excited by it, but I've got to give it 3 stars. I don't see any reason why I can't give it 3 stars. I'm going to go, again, towards the lower end. I'm going to go for a medium-low 3 because it's not inspiring, but it's playable. Strait of Zavanery by a Roseark. That is a very strong start. And I say there are some dubious decisions that have been made, but that comes with experience. And the more experience you get, the fewer dubious decisions you make, and your next map should get the all clear. Anyway, if you're still here, you're part of the 20 and out elite. Use the words of the day in the comments to score yourself some population points just for fun. And I'll be back tomorrow with another map in the What's Map series, and also tonight with the next episode of The Island. Join me 6 PM UK time for a chat.